Hello, this is Penny's Place, and this is going to be a special forecast for two of the air signs, Aquarius and Gemini. So, if you are not an Aquarius or a Gemini, you can go ahead and disregard this video. It won't make any sense to you. I'm doing this especially for these two signs because all of my broadcasts are not going to really involve them until it gets almost to the end. That is because where Saturn is right in my sign, I'm really over-focused on the disciplinary actions of Saturn and how it brings things to your attention and forces you to face your fears and change your life in ways that you have never been able to do before. And so I am looking at, I had to go back and look at when Saturn was in Aquarius last and when it was in Gemini last. Alright, now I'm going to move on to Aquarius. This is a tough one as well. Okay, Aquarius, January of 1994. I don't know if this rings a bell to you. That was the major event that really got your attention. It had to do with older people, clusters of people. I can see an institution, an older, elderly person, maybe even more than one. The news people are there. The law enforcement's there. There are people everywhere, and yet it's in your house of quiet and meditation. It's in this place where you're supposed to be alone, but you're not. But I do see that Saturn, when it's in your sign, you are a water sign. So probably you have to, instead, your quiet place is probably by water or near water. And then when people start coming to you there, then you can back up and go back. They leave your place of isolation, and you move back into your quiet space, and you go, oh, they're gone. Okay. There was a big event. Not everybody was there. And Saturn is saying, okay, what do you want to do with these missing people and places and events? Do you want to go back and pick up these people? What is it going to take to make you feel solid? What are you going to do about your house? This was, oh, I see, okay, an event where you got around some really changeable people, addictions, alcohol, drugs, these kind, I mean, it was just a big conglomerate of different types of people with different types of issues. And they were all crammed into your so-called quiet space. and when this whole event went down, and then with the elderly person and the paperwork and the newspaper and everything, cameras, special events, holiday. I mean, this whole thing is just, everything's just crowding into your little quiet world. The next time Saturn visits Aquarius is the year 2020. So you want to start from January 1994, and in January of 2020, it's going to make another visitation to you and say, okay, here's all these people, and the ones that you went back and recaptured if you wanted to, and you're going to look at everything, your paperwork, your pictures, your vehicles, your house. What do you want to do with all this stuff now? Do you want to do the same? I mean, it's been 20 years now. What do you want to do? This is what you'll be confronted with. And what you're going to find out is it's going to show you where this all started, with the addiction and the drinking and all this. And all of a sudden, you're saying, this is getting too costly for my budget. And you want to make changes because of the money. So, this is going to be the final conclusion. This is all I can really tell you at this time, because there's still a lot of years to go between now, 2014, and 2020. You still got 5 or 6 years to go. So there's no way I can say this is going to happen. Saturn gives you a time to decide. But I'm going to tell you that if you don't make a decision on all these things, then it's going to do it for you. And Saturn is also about the government. And Saturn is about structure. And Saturn is about your bones. So it could be arthritis, could be pain. You have to take a lot of pain pills for arthritis, or pain that to do with your bones, okay, or your teeth, or okay, but I can see narcotics, pain pill, drinking, something, and Saturn almost squaring it tells me that it causes pain. Okay. And if you want to take it back to 20 years prior, if you're a baby boomer, if you want to go back 20 years prior to the year 1994, maybe it all started with an accident, or it happened in 1994, or it happened 20 years prior to now. If you're an older baby boomer, you can go back even that far, where something happened to your spine, or your legs, or your bones, or something happened, and every so many years you notice that you have to increase on how much pain relief you have to have, and this kind of thing. But it's training a lot of times. Sometimes it's blocking and sometimes it's training. Evidently, people that you know or talk to are able to help you out with stuff. And so, but this event, you need to go back to 1994. And if you're old enough, you can go back 20 years prior to 1994. And see, you should have made an improvement and you have to keep some things, throw some things away, replace this, add this, this is constantly and forever going on. But being an Aquarius, and because you like a lot of people in your life, and you're a very social network kind of person, this throwing people away thing isn't something you do too often. You might shy away from them for a while, you might back off from them for a while, but Saturn is forever confronting you every so many years. What do you want to do with these people? What do you want to do with this situation? And you got to make a decision. But you know what? This whole thing boils down to your money, your budget, your structure, your home, your sense of security, and what do you want to do for the next 20 years. That's basically what Saturn asks everybody. How have you been doing in setting yourself up for the future? Are you ready? Is your paperwork ready? Are your finances ready? Are your books ready? Does your social life make sense? Or have you outgrown these people? Or are you feeling worse? Do you need more pain pills, less pain pills? Should you go for that operation and get off in all this pain because it's costing too much money? I mean, these are all things that you are working on. You've been working on it. You will continue to work on these things. And then in 2020, you will kind of slow down and come to a stop. And then all these people will confront you again. And it's putting everybody in front of you and saying, okay, what do you want to do with all these people? What do you want to do with all this paperwork? What do you want to do with all these pictures that go back 25 years that you took? Does it make sense now? Do you still want to keep them? What are you going to do with all these telephones? What about all these calls on your phone? Do you still want all these people? I mean, these are things that, for you, Saturn is stacking them up in front of you and saying, listen, you can't carry, you're carrying this big load, and she's saying, okay, you know what? Saturn is saying, you know what? You need to set that stack down. And I'm sorry, but you've got to take them one by one, and I want to know what you want to do with each and every one of these people, places, things. You've got to make a decision. And I can tell you that in the year 20, as of last October, like I've told everybody else, we have to letting go of what no longer works that we've been doing in the past 20 years. Well, there's a hint, okay? And this is what Saturn asked you in 1994, and it's going to ask you again in the year 2020. And I will guarantee you that by the year 2020, if you are a baby boomer, and you must be, if you can go from 1994 to 2020. Now, you Aquarians that were born, you're younger than 48, 49, or 50 years old, the event that happened in 1994, you were too little. You're going to have to wait a cycle, okay? You're going to have to wait till 2020 and get your first set of rules laid out in front of you by Saturn and the government, whatever. They're usually the ones that show you where you're not paying good attention, or you're using your emotions but you're not using your head. Okay, you're going to have to start, your first time around is going to be 2020. Where it's going to say, okay, do you think you still want to act like this? You still want to do this stuff? Do you still want to party with your friends? You still into drinking? You want to get rid of that? You want to get rid of this? You want to... Okay, your first call for that is going to be 2020. If you are younger than 48 years old, this isn't even going to make any sense what I'm talking about now. Okay. Okay, so that is all I can really tell you, because you still have quite a few years before we hit 2020. But if you are wondering when things happen that kind of shock and surprise you, and people pop up out of nowhere. You're making decisions about whether you want to stay single, you want to be married, you want to... Okay. But you have until the year 2020, and then you can look back from 1994 to 2020 and see how many things did I fix? How many things did I change? How do I feel now? Do I feel good about the things that I let go of? Should I have done that? Do I need to go back and get it? Nah, I think I'm good. Okay? You will have it all your ducks in a row by 2020. Right now, to bring this up to you, that's why I didn't really want to do it. You're in the middle of your confrontation that happened in 19. But if you want to know what all this is all about, you're going through these little changes. Every sign Saturn hits, she calls your attention on this, and then she calls your attention on the next sign, and the next house, and the next, okay? Right now you're probably dealing with a Scorpio person, or a death, or both, or intimacy issues, your taxes. These things, right now, Aquarius, Saturn is bringing it in front of you and saying, okay, you got to deal with this now. Just tell me what you want to do. Make up your mind, make a decision, move on. Okay? Apparently, Saturn is trying to get you ready for where you're going to be in the year 2020. You can't see that, but the heavens can. They know where you're going to be, what kind of events are going to be around you in 2020, and it sees what you're not dealing with prior to 2020, and these issues must be dealt with before the year 2020. And so, and it's to do with your career. Okay. None of these, you're so lucky, because most of the things that you're being confronted with are no big surprise to you. You're kind of a flexible person, so nothing really shakes you up too much. But you are an air sign, but there is elements of water, so you're kind of dealing with a little bit of emotional issue there too. A Jupiter in Scorpio, that's an increase in life and death. You've had a lot of deaths to deal with. Saturn notices that you're not really dealing with it too much. You say, okay, yeah, all right, well, I've got to go on. I can't. You don't grieve. You don't take time to grieve. You don't take time. You just don't take time. I can see this busy. I mean, your houses are so packed full of activity that you don't even have a moment to yourself. Okay? Saturn says, you know what, you're going to have to make one. Okay? And I think this is what goes back and forth. You're dealing with death. You're dealing with structure. You're trying to look at your future. You're dealing with issues from the past, the present, security issues, financial issues, banking issues. Yeah, if there's one sign I'm not real worried about, it's you, okay? From what I can see, just because of the nature of an Aquarian, they're down, but they're not out. You can't hold an Aquarian down. So, and they're very people-oriented. They love crowds. That doesn't really bother you. I think the issue is more the opposite, that maybe you're not taking out enough time for just you, me time. You're not doing that. Okay, because all I see is people, places, this, that, go here, go there. phones ringing, people knocking at your door. Okay. This might be what you realize is driving you to maybe drink or take more pain pills, not the pain, the stress, mental stress. You know, learn to meditate, go off in a quiet room, listen to some of the other astrologers. Just be careful. Some of them don't say things that stress you out. But seriously, all in all, Aquarius, I mean, I can see why you're one of the last ones that's going to be dealt with God and the heavens and everything, because you are being dealt with every so many years. Every time Saturn changes signs, it's bringing another issue to your attention. But I don't see, you know, every time Saturn's in your house, everything, that's like they say, this is a dawn of Aquarius, because when Saturn's in your sign, all the houses are up top. Mars, Venus, Mercury, Neptune, and the Sun, they're all jam-packed at the top of the chart. And the bottom half, the lower half of your life, the lower people, is empty. So, right now, as we speak in 2014, yes, you are dealing with the lower half of your life, but you need to. So, you will notice when Saturn calls something to your attention, because it will just sober you up and you go, oh my God, I didn't even think about that person. Oh, I forgot all about that bill. Oh, geez, I never thought about that. Right. And that is why Saturn will bring it to your attention. And it will be a very somber and serious message. But the only thing that makes it a little tough is, which way are you going to go? That being said, Aquarius and Gemini, that is why I say almost nothing in all the videos that I have to the end of 2014, because of the fact that you guys are right in the middle of going through the life lessons that lead up to the next visitation from Saturn. And so you're in the, so for me to jump in and try to say anything is really going to boggle your mind, and it's going to maybe even upset and confuse you, because you're in the process of. The rest of us have either gone through the Cardinal Cross experience, which is really tough, or the Saturn high school teacher is hitting me, it's hitting the other water signs. We're emotional people. It's not easy for us to do the things that you handle quite easily. And that is why, and that's who's being confronted the hardest, is the fire signs, the earth signs, and the water signs are really getting hit. God help the cardinal signs, you know, Aries, Cancer, and Libra. They get slammed with the cardinal cross, and now they're getting hit with the Saturn effects, and it hasn't been fun for a lot of us. You're not going to understand why people act the way they do around you, because you are dealing with it. You're just so lucky. You're getting dealt with things every so often. We are getting punched with a bunch of stuff that's shaking us up. A lot of it's because we haven't learned to do the I over E, which is intellect over emotion, and we've got it switched around, and Saturn is trying to force us to switch it the other way around, and you're not going to get somebody to do that overnight. Whereas you, on the other hand, something about Aquarians, they just kind of flow into it, and it's just, you just get it. I mean, you'll try anything. You like new wave experimenter and electronics and new wave ideas, and you're bold and you're curious, and you step right into these things, whereas the rest of us, we don't want to do it. And because we're like that, you have to, it's hard. It's really hard for the rest of us, and so you've got to try to remember that, Aquarius, is that people are not as wide open and open to life and people as you are. So try to remember that everybody's different, and our ability to grow and change is different. Try to be patient with us, Aquarius, and offer support when you can. It's awful to just say, avoiding people, they're going to feel that. But try to give some uplifting statement, post something on Facebook, some kind of encouragement, support. I mean, that's all you can do. And just understand that this is a very long process. Nobody gets it right away overnight. And Saturn will be bringing things to your attention as well, that you, for bookkeeping and budget, things that you say, I'll do that later. No, and I'll just get a calculator. Okay. You will get hit with it, and you will have to sit down and learn it. And learn how to do it. Okay? So yes, you're gonna have a few things, and it's gonna ring a bell what the rest of us are going through, and you say, oh God, you can't believe this is incredible. I'm not even good at math. I can't even do this. But I had to do it. And you did it. Okay? But if you get it within a couple of steps, that's good. But not everybody else is. Okay? And as long as you keep that in mind, and I think you will, because you're a person that likes a lot of different kinds of people, that people are going through stuff, and it's not about you, it is about them. So, that being said, I'll find a place to interject this video so that y'all realize why you're being left out of all my videos until the end of the year. So take care. Good luck to you, Gemini and Aquarius. I don't have a worry about y'all. You're in the middle of what we are just now being hit with. You're watching what you already went through, but it's been a few years, so you got to think back. But what you're watching other people go through, you've already been through it. Gemini, it was 2001. Aquarius, 1994. Just go back and remember the impact that you had and how hard it hit you and how tough it was. And remember that this is our timing. The earth signs and the water signs and the fire, everybody else except you two are just now getting slammed, okay? And it's not easy as it is for others. That being said, good luck. I know you're going to do just fine, both of you. You're in the middle of it. Just try to be supportive to the rest of us. Hang in there, be a friend, be a buddy, send a message of cheer, be there for people. But be real, be honest, tell them the truth. This is really honestly what I went through when I did it. I mean, don't try to Don't say something just to make them feel good. Make sure that it's on. I mean, Saturn demands that you tell the truth. You tell it straight up exactly like it is and don't cut any corners, okay? So, get out there and be a buddy. Learn as you go. It's pretty easy sailing for you Aquarians, and Gemini, you're going to get a little bit mixed up and confused along the way, but you've got plenty of time. Don't get frustrated. Don't lose your patience. You've got oodles of time. Okay? That's because when you do get confronted with something, Saturn says, do it right the first time, okay? If not, I'm going to have you do it again. I'm going to have you do it again. I'm going to have you do it again until you get it right. That is the message of Saturn. And if you've been through some times like that with certain things, or you've got something dumped in your lap and you were suddenly forced to have to be responsible for something, okay? But you're surviving it. It's happening. It's working. Because you got left with no choice. It was a do or die situation. There was almost no choice to be made there. Either it was an emotional or it was a logical decision. This is what you have to keep in mind that the rest of us are going through. Okay, so take care. God bless. You're going to be just fine. And I know you're learning a lot. Some of it's pretty overwhelming, surprising, shocking. Fun even. And take care. And we'll see you later.